Welcome back to Adding, Subtracting, and Multiplying Polynomials on page 5. This video is going to be just adding and subtracting, and then multiplying is in a separate video. So, adding polynomials. When adding polynomials, just combine like terms. Hopefully as we get going on this, you'll remember it from Algebra 1. So, example 1. If f of x equals x squared plus 3x minus 4, and g of x equals negative 3x squared plus x plus 7, then what is f of x plus g of x? Now remember, f and g are the same as y, really, and they're also just names for rules. So we're just taking the rule named f, so this right here, and we're adding the rule named g, which is this one right here. Now remember, like terms have the same variable to the same power. The same variable to the same power. So x squared and negative 3x squared have the same variable x to the same power 2. So they are like terms. In fact, I'm going to circle them in a different color. So these are like terms right here. And then 3x and x are like terms because they're the same variable x to the same power of 1. So I'm going to put those in a different color. And then finally, negative 4 and 7 are like terms because they have the same variable, namely no variable at all, to the same power, namely 0 because there's no variable at all. So let's go ahead and put those together. So x squared minus 3x squared is negative 2x squared. And then 3x plus x is 4x. And then negative 4 plus 7 is positive 3. And so there is your answer right there. So let's look at example 2. So if f of x is negative 5x plus 2, and g of x, and we're adding g of x, so plus g of x, so negative x squared plus 2x plus 1. And go ahead, if this confuses you, put a 1 there so you know it's a negative 1. So let's see. Let's find our like terms. So x squared doesn't have a like term. It's all by itself. There's no other x squareds. And then negative 5x is like terms with 2x because they both have an x to the power of 1. And then 2 and 1 are like terms. So we're just going to have negative 1x squared, or negative x squared. Then negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3x. And then finally 2 plus 1 is 3. And then there's your answer. So fairly straightforward, hopefully. So now let's try subtracting. Subtracting is a little bit more involved, but not by much. So we want to rewrite the subtraction as adding a negative 1 and put the second polynomial in parentheses. So let me show you. So we have the same polynomials as before. So x squared plus 3x minus 4. So right there. Now we're subtracting them. So normally we'd be doing minus, but we're going to turn this into plus negative 1. And then we're going to put g of x in the parentheses. So plus negative 1, then put g of x in parentheses. So here's g of x. I'm going to write it in parentheses. Like that. And then I want to distribute the negative 1 to each term in the second polynomial. So I'm just going to distribute the negative 1 here, here, and here. So that negative 1 times negative 3x squared is just 3x squared. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. And then go ahead and write the first one. Okay, so now it's an addition problem. So you just combine like terms. So x squared and 3x squared are like terms. 3x and negative 1x are like terms. And negative 4 and negative 7 are like terms. So I have 4x squared, and then plus 2x, and then minus 11. And there's my answer. Okay, so one more example on that. So this time we're taking f of x minus g of x, and we have these two polynomials right here. So how are we going to rewrite this? Good, so we want to turn the subtraction into plus negative 1 times g of x in parentheses. So let's write down what we have. So f of x, negative 5x plus 2, and then plus negative 1, and then put all of g of x right here in the parentheses. So negative x squared plus 2x plus 1, like that. And then we're going to distribute the negative 1 to each term in the second polynomial. Bam, bam, bam. So negative 1 times negative x squared is just positive x squared. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And then go ahead and write down f of x again. Just like that. So now I basically have an addition problem just like these. So I'm just going to combine like terms. So I have x squared and nothing else, just x squared. And I have negative 5x, negative 2x, and then I have 2 and negative 1. I'm going to write down what I've got. So x squared, negative 5x minus 2x is negative 7x. And finally, 2 minus 1 is positive 1. So there is my answer.